Welcome back, everyone. Drake Hawkins with again for some more Ymir. This is this episode 6 of our mini-series here. We're going to be doing 7 episodes for you for this 1 week look at it. And again, let me know in the comments if you guys are enjoying the series. If you have questions and comments, they really will let me know where people are at as far as this game and its concepts. We'll give it a few weeks and we'll come back and look and see what changes as we, if people are really interested in it. Then we'll come back and have a second look at it. We got a new tech in between episodes here. We started last time working our mining facilities. These are very inefficient, producing tiny bits of copper, but it's early days technology. So we have 0.9 being consumed here. They're at 80% efficiency. So some of that is because we are stocking copper ore. We have 20 total to stockpile, which I think that's okay. We'll upgrade those numbers eventually. I wanted to switch this to, there we go, let this stockpile copper, and let these things, just for visual appeal, let these things stockpile our copper ore. That's good. And then over here, I think we will leave these allowing nothing for now. We did increase our general storage in this area, and I crammed a bunch new in. I'm going to actually add even more to that. We're going to throw another batch of this in, and I want to make sure that all of this storage comes up to the top now, and then we consider looking at expanding our defensive capacity. So we actually have before end of tomorrow's episode, I want to have a decent Copper Age community, modestly defended anyways. We have slums hanging out on the hill edge. That's terrible. I don't like that. A large housing is going to be really heavy consumer of hammers, and so we have to really bump that number up a lot. We have 49 hose, which is plenty to keep us going for a while. These guys are going to need to be, we're gonna put you to high priority. We have flint stock? No, we do not. Okay. Well, that's not great. We are surplusing. We have clay that we aren't stocking. We have pottery that doesn't need to be done right now. Okay, we built all these potters for future reference, but I'm gonna... Oh, wait a second. What? You are low? You're low, not high? Okay, fine. You are tannery. You're gonna go to low as well. And then our new second tannery is going to be low priority. The textile industry is also low priority. Good. What's going on here? Why are you regular? You should be low. Alright, good. Now, how is the housing or the population situation? We are growing. We have 329 porcos in total, mostly farmers and piglets. We have 10 in the woodcutters department, 10 as artisans. 12 miners, so we have 8 miners working in the copper, so that means we only have 4 working in flint, which is why our hammer production is going to be so slow right now. New idea, I deserve retribution. Privileges, okay. The tribe is growing, and as its dominant leader, you now spend a lot of your time managing things and discussing matters of the tribe, with less and less time to participate in lower tasks and work like any other tribe's pig. What would the tribe become without your benevolent work? Don't you deserve to be rewarded and assisted for your hard work? And how can you earn the respect of the tribe if you just appear to be their equal? Divine right, indeed. Then some will always try to contest your legitimacy as a ruler. So, privileges is our ability to actually pull currency directly into the hands of the leader. It's actually a vital balancing factor of the feudal system, and this is what we're moving into. Once we get barter going and our feudal currency or feudal system working, then we'll see how that pans out. Now we have these guys working. How many? Unfortunately, the trees are in the way, which is kind of annoying. Because I can't see that this is working just by visually seeing the dude working there. But we have those. That's empty. That's empty. Are you guys actually working well? Now you're kind of low on the materials, right? There we go. I deserve retribution is a thing now. We're not really that interested in focusing on that yet, though. Our weapons crafter can go away. We're going to bring him over to here, and we're going to rebuild him in a reasonably better location. Now, that's there. If I do, say that, will that suffice? Yeah, probably, except for I totally put you in the wrong place. Stop that. Nonsense. Oops, bad clicks. Meant to put it there, but I didn't. Okay, I want to put this in, and then I want to put another one here, so they can be tucked in along where the wall will go later. That's excellent. You guys are going to be, again, low priority buildings. And one of you is actually going to be forcibly put to sleep. That sounds bad when we're talking animals, but you know what I mean. Take this guy and tell him to make axes, and instead he's going to use copper for those axes. Gonna make sure you guys are set to, not to automate, to flint only, please. And you as well. I'm only gonna have one of them making, you know what? Actually, maybe two of them making axes if we have the capacity to do so. I gotta look at the balance feature there, but this is hammers made of flint. Alright, so you actually are gonna be hose, and you're going to be lower priority. So the worker that does hose is gonna only come online when we have the capacity to handle him. You're going to be higher priority with the hammers. And you, looks like, oh, the weapon makers deconstruct was just reimburse the money, or the resources for it. Okay, so we got these three working on hammers. This guy down here is working on hose, and these are going to be working on axes using copper. You know what? You don't need to be high priority because you're just axes. They do have the axes, but I don't think they're going to have the copper to maintain that much. I'm putting 0.3 into storage. And that'll mean we're using... Why is there... production, sorry. We're taking 0.3 out of storage. So we're only producing 0.4 copper right now. Is that full productivity? Once the copper ore is finished stocking, you know what? I'm going to switch that to 10. Only 10 is fine. Once they reach 10 in stock, they will be he'll be producing, I think, 0.5 or 0.6 or so copper. And one of these guys is going to consume 0.7. Right? Yeah, that's going to consume 0.7. So 1-to-1 ratio, 1 copper for every unit of axes produced. Okay? So this fellow right here is not going to be necessary, so he can just go to sleep. You are going to be necessary, but on low, you'll be using wood to make javelins. And you are also going to go to sleep. Alright, there we go. That being said, and this being relocated to where it belongs, we have a lot of storage down here that I want gone. So I'm going to go ahead and read this. No more free meals. Okay, this is going to make things really confusing and complicated, but it's going to be amazing in the long run. We have the ability to consider a new type of technology. We could start exchanging goods of equivalent value for each service on the instant, instead of sharing everything with anyone in the community and hoping for later paybacks, which become harder to track as the population increases. A gift economy can only be viable as long as all members of the community can build trust by knowing and remembering each other. Beyond that, it creates much conflict and instability, which could be reduced by transitioning to a system of immediate equivalent exchange. No more free meals. So barter is the introduction of the currency side of this game, which is extremely complex. But now let's click the builder, right click here, left click for build, and we can now remove infrastructure and buildings with just a swipe of the button. Boom. Storage goes away. Shut that off. Actually, I'm going to right click that again and say buildings off, so when I click that, right, that's good. When I click that, it's only infrastructure being removed. It looks like we are just barely have enough staff or storage built to handle what we've just deleted. So let's fix that. Just a little bit. Whoop! Barter. Have the civic fair exchange enabled. Okay, that was our mission, or what? It was our mission. Oh, well, really? Receive 200 coins. Convert... Oh, we don't have that yet. Convert 100% of stocked resources in all territories to state-owned. So when you initiate fair exchange, everything starts out being state-owned. That's going to be important later. But I don't know that we'll get to that today. I think we'll have to prep a little bit, because otherwise we can go through some serious upheaval in our economy when we make that change. That is over here in the, not knowledges, in the policies department under the economy tab. We can now switch to a fair exchange, which will enable state treasury, enable paid materials. The state has to pay for materials it consumes at their current market value. So every time we've been like building hammers, we would have to pay for those hammers. Now everything that we've got stocked at the time of initiating that becomes state property, and we don't have to pay for it, the items we've got, because they'll already be state property. But that is very, very important to keep an eye on. We need to upgrade our wood cutting capacity, because that is going to be a big drain on population and efficiency. We are stocking wood right now, but it's going to be used increasingly as fuel. It's also going to affect the... I didn't realize we couldn't move those guys. Okay. Let's see. Instead of upgrading, I think we might choose this and see about the setting up a range that actually is more efficient. Use the space. Yeah, I think you will cover more territory that way. I think you can be upgraded. So that'll be those two. And then maybe we put another one in. We're short on the hammer, the axes still. When we have another one, we can put another one in there. You are producing 0.7 wood. Oh, I didn't realize that. Instead of 0.45 before. So that's the efficiency changes of the population. That's good. Woodcutters right now use 2 population. The basic ones, yes. And they have a productivity of 0.7 wood at max capacity. This guy was upgraded. He now has 0.9 wood from the same 2 employees. That's pretty good. It's not a huge change, but it's something. Okay, you guys go there, and then you can probably be deconstructed, and we'll build another Tech 2 guy if we had the access to do it, which we don't. Alright, how are we doing for axes? We are, what's our situation here? We're making 0.4 copper, yes? How close to full? We're very close to filling up the level of productivity. Barter economy tech is not going to be done right now. Sorry, guys. We're making textiles, though. That's good. We're not using them, turning them into cloth yet, but that will come. Okay, now, other than that, we have a few things we have to tend to. We do need another community center and possibly some more doctors. That might help the population. I'm going to actually go ahead and add another doctor in here. I didn't kind of lay out the proximity of these things well at the moment, but I think we'll go ahead with one right beside this other doctor. That's good. And then for government, I want not a tribal. Oh, there is the tribal council, which we have not done yet. I forgot about that. Can we do there for the tribal council? Let's do there. Oh, we need stone. More stone for the tribal council, huh? How are you for stone production? You're low priority, so you haven't really been making any. I think we should probably have somebody doing stone, right? Can we hire like 3 of them for a while and then maybe drop it once we get the stockpile? Enough to build the buildings? Because the forum is also going to need one, right? It's going to need a lot, actually. Where is it? It's under community buildings. Yeah, 30 stone for the tribal, or for the forum upgrade. Alright, that's a thing. Now, we need a lot of lumber stockpiled in order to wall this whole thing in. A ton of it, actually. Population is still growing rather aggressively. Increase in conflict is not great. Loyalty is decreasing slightly. We may soon need to start considering having a few defenders functioning as a few defenders actually working inside the space as army rather than militia to balance those. Housing wise, we have way less than we should. That's probably what's killing us right now. So I think we're gonna, let's see, we can get 10 of these large houses in here. Where are we gonna put them though? I don't know. I've got lumber there. I think maybe we'll upgrade the housing down here. Not sure. I mean, we could put just various different clusters of housing in different areas. This might not be a bad idea. A little row of nicer housing in here for our industrial complex that's growing up here. Oh, we have no stone for those buildings. Yeah, okay. It's going to be a thing. It's going to be a big kicker. In fact, I would say you become regular priority for now. And do we have any surplus people? I'm sure we don't. We do have surplus food though, don't we? We have corn stocked to 40, beans stocked to 40, and rice stocked to 40. That's fantastic. How are you guys doing? You guys are going to use axes to give upgrades, aren't you? You're running 100%, 100%, and 100%. I want all three of each type of food running 100% would be good at this point. And then we can upgrade from there. And this guy I think was not. Yeah, he's only got, he needs 11 more bean stalks built. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back over, you know what, we'll just go this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know how many I did. That's 18. And 19 and 20. Good. Now you guys are each producing 1.8. Lovely. Those are all full. Those are all full. I think these are full as well. Sort of. Ish. I mean, it's full. It's just slightly less productive. That's fine. We actually need to add another farm in, which is just crazy. This is a level 2 farm. Can we do that? No, let's not do that. Let's go with the obsolete gathering camp level 1. Somewhere in here. If we can stick it in along the edge, that would be lovely. Or not, apparently. Maybe that's a harder thing to do than I thought. I guess it is. Okay, wow, that's kind of weird. Well, we're not going to be able to get more there, so we'll put it up on the pinnacle there. That's fantastic. You guys. Hey, you guys. Just browsing over. Is there anything we're not doing properly right now? I mean, there's probably lots, but we could really use some more stone production, but I need this food increased for sure. We can't afford to not be feeding our people as maximizely as possible. Is maximizely a word? No, it's not, Drake. 1 there, and 2, 3, 4. Oh, wait a second. It's really kind of hard to nail these sometimes. 5, that's better. 6. That's off, eh? That's... Oh, because I shuffled it. See? They didn't nail it right. I missed entirely. 7. 8. 9. 10. And 11. A little awkward that I did it that way, but that's okay. Okay, 12, 13. Not going to get any more in here anyways. 14, you're not going to fit. Oh, you are. Oh, that's a 1.9. That's terrible. I haven't been watching the percentages. That one can go away. Stop that. And then these two need to move over. There. Shuffled them out of the way. It was just a bad click. Tree reappears. I love it. After a while, I don't know if they do, but for now, they reappear. Why do trees suddenly appear? We got 14 in place now. And we'll keep going from there. Up this way, I think. No, yes. 16, I should say. 17. 18. I think. Double check that. 18, good. 19. And 20. Good. So all of those now should be 20. They are. And they're set to critical. They are. I'm not sure if we have the housing to do this, but, or the population to do this, but it's critical and it's got to be the top. So we are producing about the same for each of the 3 food crops, which is fantastic that we can do that. We will be producing. Production is what I'm looking at, because that once they balance out the stockpile, that's fine. Production's 5.3 there. Production is 5.4 and 5.4. Now, our people are demanding more than that for the ideal demand, but they're not... Yeah, we're actually stocking meat at this point. We have more meat than our people can use. That's amazing. Which means I could probably turn a bit of things down. Maybe. Maybe we don't need to put all that... No, we're still getting the leather and the wool out of it. I think we'll leave it. Surplus on the wool is huge because we're not consistently doing textiles and cloth making, but we will in time. I would like to get another forum for a community center. I'd like to upgrade our housing. I think upgrading our housing has to be priority before we go to any of these changes in our technology or in our society too much, because it is going to make a big deal. I'll put a third medical facility in there as well, because we're only getting about 11% per facility for the housing or for the medical efficiency at this point. So a third of the medical supplied is better than a lot of nations nowadays. So you guys are gonna have to move your housing in, I think. I'm not sure if I want all this housing out here. Maybe not. Let's put our citadel that's over here. Let's move it inside. And then maybe the military will not let too much stuff get stolen away from us. And there, and then form in there maybe. So what if we do it... how about we house them maybe in here somewhere? Is that the way to do it? Maybe. I think so, probably. Let's go 7. 6, 7. 7 wide there? Sure. We'll do it all the way over here, I guess. Kind of excessive, to be honest. But that's fine. There and there. Actually, we'll close this one as well. And I'll do a line here. Then we'll right-click, grab the gate, and put a double gate right in here. There we go. That makes that space accessible. A little jungly, but accessible. And then we've got granaries, and I think we definitely have been lacking some tech by not getting granaries. So I'm going to put in a couple granaries. They're going to be inside the defensive wall here. Okay. Now what that'll do is allow me to actually stock very specific resources in there, and they will be they're manned, storage facilities that store more, but they store only food crops. Put them up to high priority in the store. Actually, you know what? Regular is fine, because once the stuff is stored, as long as it's in there, it stays. You're going to be the corn storage, and you will get max 26 of 40, conveniently, which is the number that I was aiming at when I started setting those stockpiles specifically for only those things. Right, let's hire you. And the rice is in, and hire you. They'll redistribute the population as needs be. You are going to be restricted, allowing beans. A max stock of beans in there. And I think maybe we do this and tell it to bring in a stock of meat in here. So we basically have our inner citadel here that has a surplus of food for future reference. Now, I want to go to here and strategic tool. And we're going to delete this. We're going to make a new defensive zone there, and tell these guys to relocate to the defensive zone here. Up here. Let's make this a little bit better positioning. Good. And then you are also going to be in defensive zone 1, just like your buddy. And you're going to stand over there when the battle comes to. There we go. Now, this is now all old school and doesn't need to be here anymore, so we'll go ahead and take care of that with the infrastructure delete button. Kaboom! We get half of the resources back. Half of the wood comes back. Then we'll remove that guy. And I think we will take this facility and move it up to over here. That's good. Alright, so that's the militia. We got our forum. We might actually move... You know what? We'll move you over here, I think, instead. Totally not necessary to be fiddling with this drake. Not at all. Alright, now, can we build another forum at this point? Do we have the capacity for it? No, we're really low on stone. So that's unfortunate, but... Let's see what it would take for these houses. Take a stone as well. I'd love to move my housing in, but I don't know that that's practical. Not with all the space in here taken up with storage. It might not be very practical. How are we doing for number of housing, though? We have 90 sows right now. 355 total population. So we need at least 90 housing. If not more. This is 10, 20, 40, 60, 70. Not 90. That's 70, Drake. Okay. Well, let's consider more housing here. Oops. Just throw those in. That's another stack of 20. Or 10, rather. Not 20. And these never were used. So we're going to get rid of those. And put in another batch of housing in here. Unfortunately, it's not the specialized housing. It's not the better housing. We're out of hammers now, are we? No, great. Takes you quite a while to build those. So let's use our speed tool to speed things along a little bit, so that finishes up a little quicker. Now, I think at this point what we're doing is just kind of waiting on like axes to be built and stuff, so we can continue upgrading efficiencies of new buildings. That's mostly where we're at. We only have like one hammer at the moment, huh? So we definitely want to get more productivity out of our workers. What is going to be needed to do that? I'm going to try to think about what buildings we need to improve on. As you guys have been watching through this series, you probably now have a fairly decent idea of what sort of things we're able to do to improve the situation of the living conditions for everyone, as well as the as well as the efficiency of our workers. So like this is working, doing fine. Some buildings can be upgraded now at this point. I'm not sure which ones. The butcher, no. Okay. Tannery, no. Pottery, no, I don't think so. The farms, the ranches, cattle farms don't need to be upgraded. This can be, but I'm going to move him to a different location. I think you can come down over here and contend for some space over here. So that's probably enough for them to each expand out into. What do we got here? Organizing construction. We need 24 hammers to do it, and that will allow... I'm not sure. Even skilled builders need someone to coordinate them, take time to plan, organize, and manage the construction instead of directly participating, especially when it comes to building more complex things. These construction foremen would improve our ability to manage more complex construction projects. So it sounds like they're prerequisite sort of thing to upgrading tech. I haven't gone farther than the end of the Copper Age, so I will be learning along with you if we continue this series. If you guys request, if a lot of attention is given to it, then we will be upgrading, or we'll be coming back to it after tomorrow's episode. So there we go. We've got that down. That's 90 housing. We definitely need another 10 somewhere in here. I think we might just stick them right in here. Give them a little bit of a spacing and kind of go this way with them now. That'll leave us sort of some space to work with, some housing capacity to work with. Looks like we're needing to dramatically improve the quality of the housing. We may be able to upgrade the fisher soon. No, our hunters are already upgraded. Our farms can be upgraded, which is going to give us more population growth at that point. Do we want to do that? Yes and no. Clay exploitation 2. Okay. How are we doing on our clay supply? You're low priority, not working, huh? 3 hammers would allow you to upgrade to be more effective, but you're not putting anybody to work there yet. So not ideal, not essential. I mean, we need another forum for sure. We don't have the builders built yet. We need hammers to make builders, interestingly enough. Improving storage. There we go. Warehouses. Fantastic. Once we get some hammers stocked, as is always the plight of our culture right now, our community right now, we'll be able to build warehouses. We can improve the storage of common resources by building a proper warehouse with employees to help managing and moving into inventories. This would allow us to store more goods on smaller surfaces. It does indeed. So it allows them to stack up a lot more stuff. It's a 3x3 building, if I remember correctly, with a little crane attached to it. It's a fantastic little graphic, but it, more importantly, allows them some substantial reduction in the amount of space consumed by storing goods. So we could fit rows differently in this sort of spacing and get a lot more bang for our buck. How are we doing on our wood supply? We have 86. I might look at this point, before we end this episode, look at starting to wall off some of our spaces here with more, I'd say more efficient use of our access. We're kind of limiting access by invaders by doing a bit more strategic use of our space. So if I go from here to here, does that lock that one in? I think so. It does. See that nice little ditty there just locked it up nicely for us. So let's do this here. And continue this line here. Did that do weird things? It kind of did. But it is solid, so we'll count it. Let's go like this. And down there. Does that make a nice... It does make a nice little block, doesn't it? If I put a gate in here, that would be an access point. Doesn't need to for population to walk through, so we can do that. As long as we don't isolate an entire section without having gates anywhere, then we're okay. I think this area over here would be prime for a nice little gatehouse of some sort. Let's do this. And this sort of a thing. And I could put in a door there. And a door there. That might work nicely. Limiting access, if we could bring access only through that area, that might be useful. There is an opening here, and I don't like that. This maybe just kind of painting in the walls as we go. Right, like that. And if I actually go from that mode to this mode, it'll give us a flattened version of our accessibility. So as long as there's no walk-through spaces, that's a gate, but this is fine. They can walk right through there, they can get through that spot, so on. They could get through over here. So that's sort of a look, but I'm not sure. With that mode on, I can't really see the normal view to see the topography, like this, of spaces that I might want locked in. I think I want this whole thing locked in along here. Let's do that. Oops, wrong button. And then run this all the way down to here. Good, I like that. We could do something like this. And that. No, not enough wood. Okay, there you go. We're not going to make quite that whole palisade along there, but that's the idea. And if I can make some sort of like doubled up area near the gatehouse here, that might be the spot that they will be kind of forced to go through. Right now they're forced to go through that gatehouse, so they'll probably just run up and work their way through the slums here and get through this. Unfortunately, this is not a sealed space, so all of this they can actually walk through. We'll put it down to fortification flat mode so you can see what I'm talking about. Aside from all those slums being in the way, which they can totally get through, there is a point right here, right on this slum right here, that is blocking the only walkable access there. And I don't know that slums are going to do that much for defensive structure for us. So we could do a deal like this. No, we can't do that because we don't have any timber. So we'll get that when we're able to. But that's part of the process of breaking or of setting up defenses for us. So we're at the point where we're waiting on our population's efficiency to improve based on adding in new housing. For that, we have the stone and the hammers. So I can go ahead and put up. Actually, while we're chammering about it here, I can go ahead and put in another batch of 10 houses here. We're out of wood again. Okay, fine. That's kind of our bottleneck right now, is producing enough timber to do everything efficiently. So, using the axes that we have, I think we will. We'll take that out. I think those are our only woodcutter left outside of the area that I want to use. Oh no, there's one still in there, eh? Or is it? Oh yeah, there's one woodcutter there and a woodcutter there. Okay. I think we'll put one more down here. And then we will put one over here. Let's see there. This is bad quality as far as the value of the soil. And there. And then I'm going to remove... No, I'm going to upgrade those guys and let them go crazy on it. So we have lots and lots of timber. Potentially lots of timber. They're all regular priority. They're not stealing population from elsewhere yet. We are using 1.5, which I think comes from a tiny bit of work being done on these. No work being done on javelins, which is okay because we have... Oh, don't demolish. We have 45 of them. I meant to put you to sleep. We've been running on secondary speed for a while. 1.5 is actually being used to max out our copper. So we're making 0.5 copper there. That's good. Which means our hammers should be coming out at... Or not hammers. That is hammers at 0.5, but that's disturbing because I don't know why you're... Oh, I clicked on the wrong tile. 66% efficiency on this one tool maker is making 0.5 axes. That's all we can muster right now. We got 1.5 on the hammers, and we get 0 on the hose. So we're just basically short on population. If we click on the population bottom bucket right here, button right here, we have 380 population. 99 of them are active, so that's the employed 99 right here. 99 of 99 are employed. And we have 121 jobs allocated, so we don't have enough people. Apparently 98 of our jobs are filled and 100 people are employed. It must mean the leader counts as one, but he doesn't have a job. So we have, basically we got to get another 23 active porcos in order to fill all the jobs that we've got right now. And right now we're gaining a 0.7 actives every 3 minutes. So we're on our way to the right population if we can manage to maintain the situation without having too much loyalty and conflict issues. We will be changing that as we get out of our current bottleneck, which is the barter, not into barter yet. So tomorrow, hopefully, we'll be able to consider activating barter, and it's probably going to be a little premature, but I do want to show off how it works a little bit. I'm no master at it. Check out our Saturday streams and talk to Sheraton. He knows the game a lot better than I do as far as efficiency of that barter system. So we've added some more housing, but we're just barely keeping up with the housing. So we got to start both upgrading the houses that we've got and increasing the actual number. We're looking to have probably 150 houses before we hit the point where our population is actually fully doing all the things we need them to do for the current layout. And of course, more population means more needs, which means more people, which means a runaway scenario. So I want to upgrade these houses hopefully before the next episode finishes. Possibly do a bit of let a bit of time run in between, and come back with you if anything important happens. And stockpile a bunch of lumber, get the houses upgraded, stockpile some stone to get them upgraded as well. That's also a thing. Mostly it's just hammers and wood right now that we need. So as we get more population, they will fill out the roles like all of these flint gatherers, and things will kind of maximize there. Food is growing. Food is being produced. All of our food stocks are actually surplusing right now. No, not surplusing. I lied, totally. We're just over, well, we're at 59% supply on rice. We're at 59% on beans as well, and 58% on corn. We have 100% of our meat needs being met, and 15% bonus getting the fish going there. So that's pretty good. Our llamas are full and not improving any. We have tons of them being butchered every day. We have excess meat. We have so much excess meat right now. Our population can grow fairly substantially and still have all of its needs on food met effectively. Right now, even though that only 60-ish% of each of these are being met, our total food needs are being met all over the place. Everybody's pretty much got them, which means any access to cloth and furniture and society that they get is not depleted by too aggressively. Minus 4% for unsatisfied needs of a higher priority. Okay, so as we get more furnishings and more clothing being made, that will dramatically improve the life quality, intelligence, and all the rest of our people, because it's a second tier need. And as long as we maintain the amount of food and water provided to them, they will get the most out of the life quality bonuses of having those extra things. And then once those are fully supplied for everybody, then you can more effectively move down to entertainment and alcohol production, and then later down to luxury access to things like gold and jewelry, and luxury accesses for precious foods or pleasure foods and so on. So that's how that tier works. We are providing their basic needs fairly effectively. We are having a lot of conflict building up because our population's growing and they're still on the old style of gift economy, and we really need to improve that because the new one, free exchange, has a minus 50 population conflict, plus 25 population stress, 20% building efficiency as opposed to minus 20 and minus 70. So we're going to be able to handle having more people. They will be much less conflict for them. But then we're going to have to deal with populations, income fluctuating, and all the rest. So inequality is about to hit Truffleton, and the chiefdom of Solaria, Mr. Ramble Bumbleberg, is going to have his hands full trying to figure out how to fill his hands with coin and not let everybody starve at the same time. So thank you. Another long episode. Sorry about that. Oops. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you in game.